Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Caleb here. Boomer Caleb.
Boomer.
Rob is out on the DL preparing for this weekend's game at the University of Oklahoma, and we are at the Podcast Palace in beautiful Norman, Oklahoma, where we are not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have eligibility left. To get all the stuff out of the way, first off, if you're out and about around the country, you're needing a good place to go tailgate, you're not going to be able to make it to the Sooners game, or you're attending somewhere and you thought, you know what, where is a good tailgate? Or if you're coming into Oklahoma and you want a good tailgate, go check out tailgateconnect.com, where they will hook you up with the best tailgates across the country on just about every college football venue, and they've even ventured out into the pro venues. Dan Donnelly from California, a Sooner fan and good friend of ours. He is the owner and operator of Tailgate Connect. Just go to www.tailgateconnect.com and find a tailgate near you. Also, not just tailgating, Team Bar Finder can set you up with the bars in your town or close to you for your Sooner watch party or your pro team. There's plenty of them out there. But Team Bar Finder, also owned by a Californian Sooner fan and Sooner alum, Dave Lamb. But what they do basically is, if you're wanting a watch party to go to, you can download their app on the Apple Store. You can get it from the Google Play Store, or just go to www.teambarfinder.com, find your town, and find a Sooner watch party near you. If you host a watch party at a local bar, then you can sign your bar up if you want more Sooner fans to come. Again, that's www.teambarfinder.com. So, Caleb, are we still basking in the 34-27 thumping of the Texas Longhorns?
I guess. Not really. I mean, I kind of past it now. I celebrated. It's kind of ready for this next game now, even though it's going to be a beatdown.
Well, here's the thing. Did you know that Lincoln Riley is 6-0 for the first time?
Did not know that. I thought when we lose, I guess Iowa State was game 6, I'm guessing then?
No, it was like game 3 or 4. And Oklahoma is 6-0 for the first time since 2011.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah.
I mean, last one when defeated was 2000 overall at the regular season. I think it was 2008.
Yeah.
Or
So it's been a long time since the Sooners have been 6-0, undefeated, coming out of the Texas game.
Yeah. It's going to be for us to lose, it's going to be a big upset because we should be favored by double digits throughout the way.
Yeah. So you brought it up before we get into all the Sooner stuff. You brought it up before the podcast. Colin Cowherd. Why don't you kick it off there?
It's not only him. It's like a lot of national writers, actually legit people are saying the Lincoln stuff. Like the Cowboys is a job pretty much. Like that's the guy that are going after. Like there's reports of him. He's like friends with Jerry Jones' son-in-law, or whatever, and all that crap. I mean, Cowherd. Here's the thing, Cowherd. He knows a lot about the pros. He's not really smart when it comes to like evaluating players and stuff like that, but he does know a lot about the pros. College though, he's an idiot. Like he didn't know Joe Burrow went to Ohio State for 3 years before he transferred to LSU. But like he's pretty much came out, like a 10-minute segment talking about like he's not sure when he's going to be this year. It might be in 2 years. Which he's hedging pretty much, just so you can't say he's wrong this year.
Yeah.
He says the Cowboys have the next coach and it's Lincoln, and the reason why Jones go after him because when he's won was with college coaches. It was with Jimmy Johnson and it was with Barry Switzer. And he just his reasoning was just kind of dumb. It was just like
that's
the recruiting now is full year because the two commitment days, which it's pretty much one commitment day now. If you knew anything about college, you would know that. And then he just thinks that the NFL is just better, and also the transfer portal it makes it a lot harder to keep people in college. Once again, it's not really that hard. He's just ignorant when it comes to college, but he knows a lot about the pros. He doesn't know about players, but he knows he has a lot of sources inside of pros. And like not only him, like a lot of people are saying that with sources that's like who they want.
Yeah,
it's him. I mean, I don't think he's going to leave at least until he wins his championship. I don't think he's going to leave until he does that.
So you don't think there's a chance that Jerry Jones or that he takes a job from Jerry Jones this year?
Unless we win. If we win, I think that's the only way he does it.
I say here's the thing. Okay, Lincoln Riley. There are coaches.
And even then, I don't think it's not guaranteed, but I don't think he's going to leave. Period until he gets a championship. Plus, he's so young.
Yeah,
he can leave and come back to college. That's one thing positive of being so young. He can do all that and come back. He's what, 35, 36?
36.
So I mean, he can still leave and go pros, and then pretty much if he doesn't work in pros, there's programs are fire the coach right now to hire Lincoln Riley, even if he failed. So I mean,
well, but here's the thing. Okay, Jerry Jones really can't offer him anything more than what the university can. Okay, not any better job security. They could offering more money in a shorter period of time. Yeah. But I mean, how many really? I mean, there's the Pittsburgh Steelers and really the New England Patriots upon recent times are the only ones who keep coaches around.
Even Cowboys though, like they won't fire Jason Garrett. I mean, that guy should have been fired like 5 years ago.
But Lincoln right now, and I think always, is going to be a college coach. I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell that he ever goes to the pros.
I think he goes pros.
And
it's nice. I don't think it'll be for a little bit. I think he's going to at least win at least a couple of championships before he does it. But I think the pros is too intriguing because I mean he can be one of the few handful of coaches that won both in college and in the NFL.
Yeah, but it's intriguing, but it's also a bigger pain in the ass. I mean, you're dealing with multi-million-dollar athletes. Half of them are punks.
I think
egos.
The same. I think pain in the ass about the same. I mean, he dealt with his first year here. Like he wasn't a head coach, but he dealt with the Joe Mixon situation his first years. I mean, he knows that. I mean, he's dealt with that bad stuff before. I mean, but he dealt with Baker being the headline. He's used Baker's in the headline almost every week. He dealt with that. I mean, he's in the headline in Oklahoma pretty much every week with these distractions. So I don't think that's a problem with him at all.
Here's my deal: is his mentors, Bob Stoops, Mike Leach, and probably Donnie Duncan, probably others out there. He just seems like a college guy.
I can see a pro stuff.
He relates to the college. Okay, he wasn't asked this question at the coaches show at Rudy's last night, but one of the things that he said was people asking what one of the questions was from the crowd was, what do you love the most about college football and hate the most about college football? And was, well, love is easy. He goes, it's the greatest game on earth. Okay, so that's his view of the college game. And then then it was, what's the worst part? And he goes, I don't know. I can't find the worst part. Yeah, I'm sure there is some.
Take that with a grain of salt, obviously, because he's also on the OU coaches show. I mean, he's a smart guy. That's why he's also like great. He doesn't give anything away. Period.
Yeah. Well, neither did Bob Stoops.
How many Bob Stoops? I mean, all the great coaches don't talk about any of their personal stuff.
And he's never going to say, I'm not going to take a pro job because he's not stupid.
He's not. I mean, I said the only place I think he would go would be the Cowboys, just because one, it's the Cowboys. He's from Texas. I mean, he never made it pros as a player, so I mean that's one thing he's never got a chance to do. Like he had pretty much quit in college and become a coach. So I mean, but like I said, I don't think it's gonna happen until he wins. But like, this has come up every year. This is the first time a legit like sources like and like the NFL is like this is actually like more of a threat than it has.
Okay, why would the Cowboys take him and not Dabo?
Because Lincoln, I mean,
who's the more successful coach?
Yeah, but Lincoln's also like way younger too.
Who's the more successful coach?
Dabo.
But why isn't everybody talking about Dabo going to the Cowboys?
Because Lincoln has more links to the Cowboys. Like he's from there. He's from Texas. He is the hotter name than Dabo. Like Dabo's older. Dabo's like what, in the 60s? I mean, Dabo's older. How old he is. Dabo's pretty old. He's not that old. Maybe it might be in his 50s or something. But still, Lincoln's younger. Right now in the NFL, it's hot to get a young, hot coach. I mean, look, Kingsbury got a job because he's young and he's offensive mind.
But he also had time in the pros.
Who, Kingsbury?
Yeah, he coached with New England.
Oh, yeah, he's also with Tom Brady there too.
Yeah.
But the hot thing right now in the NFL is the copycat league. Sean McVay changed it all. I think Lincoln's a better coach than Sean McVay because Sean McVay is really what Lincoln does with that memory thing. McVay has the exact same thing. Like, he stands for it too. And like Lincoln though is just. He has connections, and he's just a hot name. And plus, what the Cowboys need, what they haven't had in forever, is a good quarterback. Lincoln's made 2 first-round picks of guys, or one guy's a walk-on. The other guy was transferred. 2 transfers, made 2 first-round picks, made them Heisman winners. He's made Jalen the most pro-ready look quarterback that he has in his whole career. And I mean, with that offense that the Cowboys have, there's no excuse. They have a good offensive line. They have one of the best backs in the league, one of the best receivers. And Lincoln, if anyone can make Dak Prescott an All-Pro, it's Lincoln Riley. I mean, that's how good of a coach he is. It's more how good he is on offense.
Well, here's again more.
I keep entering this. I don't think he's going to go this year. Like I said, I think Lincoln loves Oklahoma too much and loves college too much. I think he has to win because one thing he hasn't done yet this year in his career in the college is win a title. I don't think he's going to leave until he wins a title.
Yeah, but see, I just think there's again Oklahoma. Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys is a great job. It's not one of the best jobs in sports. As much as I hate to say that. Because of its worldwide recognition,
yeah, I mean it's the richest franchise in the world, pretty much.
But it also comes with Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
headache?
I think pretty much if Lincoln does go, he's going to tell Jerry, "I'm in control with this stuff."
That's how bad do you want me? Parcells did that. I mean,
right now Jerry Jones isn't running as much as this, which it kind of sucks because it made some good some choices. Yeah. I'm not a big Cowboys fan either, but I mean his son's running most of it, and that's who's close with Lincoln apparently.
Well, Lincoln, if he calls, Lincoln's going to talk to him. If nothing else, so Lincoln can come back and go, "Hey, this is what the Cowboys offered me. Can y'all sweeten the pot?"
No, I don't think I guess Lincoln's going to win first. If he does anything, he's also going to want control because that's the main thing. That's the one thing most coaches don't have. That's a lot of people don't think he took the Browns job because he didn't have a lot of control.
He didn't take the Browns job because nobody wants the Browns job.
Browns. Dorsey runs the whole thing. Like Lincoln, if he leaves anywhere, he's going to want some control. A Browns job, it was actually a hot job because they have a lot of talent. I think one of the biggest problems they have this year is their coaching. It's probably the biggest problem they have is their coaching. The guys calling terrible plays. But, I mean, I guess the Cowboys, because they're Cowboys, but Jerry Jones has got to take a step down, let Lincoln have power, and Lincoln's got to win first.
I think he's going to have to win and win more before he'll go. I don't think he's the type of guy I think he wants to sustain something. I think he wants to be...
This is all our predictions too. We have no idea who Lincoln is at all.
But I mean, just from what I've gathered from him, he loves working with these kids. He loves bringing them through the program. I mean, and let's face it, Oklahoma is one of the best jobs in the country. Yeah. With college football, it's up there in the top 5. I don't care what anybody says. Maybe top 3. He has the support of the staff. He has the support of the fans. Just like with any college or athletic club, as long as you're winning, you get the support. But he's dealt with the Oklahoma fan. Look how we've been the last 2 and 3 years with the defense. I mean, we've been fans, pissed off about it, didn't like it. But he dealt with the fire stoop stuff. He dealt with all that. I just think this game to him is so dynamic, and working with the young kids, developing him in, I think he gets satisfaction from that. I put this kid in the NFL.
You don't think there's anything selfishly with him that he never got the chance to go pro that he kind of wants to? I mean, that's one thing he never got a chance to do that he can do at a different type of level.
Yeah, but
I mean, and also go against the greatest coach of all time, like Bill Belichick, probably if he's still out there. I mean, Nick Saban's one of the all-time greats, but the greatest coach of all time is Bill Belichick because what he's done in pros and keeps that same consistency as long as he has.
But seeing that's something
ridiculous.
I can't remember who I was listening to the other day. You brought that up. Is look at we've all complained about the squib kick, and there's been certain plays that in the big game, why didn't he put his foot down on the gas with Georgia? All these things. You got to remember the guy is 36 years old and going against Saban and these other guys who have years of experience, of in-game experience, that high-pressure stuff. Lincoln's still made some rookie mistakes.
So in the Super Bowl this year, like McVay got pants by Belichick, because his defense shut down Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't win that game. It was Bill Belichick just owning McVay in the Super Bowl. I mean, the Rams offense couldn't do jack crap. Once again, I do think Lincoln's better coach than McVay is, though. Yeah. So I mean,
well, I think we're blessed with I think one of the up and coming coaches. I mean, I don't think he's up and coming anymore. He's a top 3 coach, and he's right. I mean, behind Dabo and Saban, he's right there. I mean, he's like. But what I'm saying is that he's finally put together his staff. He's got his defensive coordinator. And I heard this morning people talking about Grinch could leave this year. I'm like, go where? I mean, Oklahoma fans and and even some of the media, but I know on that, but Oklahoma fans think that our coaches are going to go, and part of it is Bob Stoops' fault because they did go from here to big jobs, but the only one I know of that was here just 1 year and got a head coaching job was Mike Leach. The rest of them stayed a couple years.
I mean, Grant Schmitz is like a top 40, top 30 defense. He's going to get a lot of calls.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for how bad we were last year. And he's going to get calls. Like the question is if he wants to take a head coach job or he wants to keep building stuff.
Yeah, and where do you want to be a head coach at? Do you want to?
Maybe he knows. I mean,
do you want to go to FIU or somewhere like that, or is he going to go? You know what? I'd rather go to a higher tier. USC or
maybe he could be a Paul Lincoln pretty much, and if Lincoln leaves, he can be a head coach of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, but before he does that, there's a lot more to prove. But then again, Lincoln only had 2 years as a coordinator.
Yeah.
Like I also confident when he got hired, I thought it'd be a good hire when you get, but still, it was a first time coach with a lot of talent, and I mean, but obviously he's one of the best hires OU's ever had.
Yeah, and the big thing, there's been a lot of good coaches out there. A lot of coaches have good talent when they come in and screw it up.
Yeah,
I mean, so
it's gonna be interesting though. I said because this is most like it's been every year. It's been every year it's happening, and then like usually it's not gonna happen. I mean, it could happen. I mean, you're gonna hate the guy if he does leave. You're gonna hate him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
he's not going to leave. I don't think he's going to leave. I mean, he can be at Oklahoma for 20 years and make millions and millions of dollars, or he can go coach the Cowboys and sign a 10-year contract for $10 million a year and maybe not be there but 6. And then what are you going to do?
And go back to college. He'll be 42 years old.
Yeah.
Now. He'll still be one of the youngest coaches in college.
I just don't think it's on his wheel. Anyway, let's get off.
I do. I just don't think he'll do it until he wins. He's going to win here first before he does it. He cares so much about winning. That's the one thing he hasn't done.
Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit of stuff that we were concerned about last week that I think were warranted, but probably were answered. Number one, the offensive line. We talked about it in the earlier podcast this week. Offensive line did a fantastic job. Part of that is
teamwork to stay consistent. That's all my thing is.
Yeah,
let's do it again this week.
The big help was that Stevenson and Ely were back. But here's the deal, and this is Toby Rowland, the voice of the Sooners. I was listening to his show this morning, and he put it out on Twitter. In 2018. The Oklahoma rushing attack, the Oklahoma line helped produce 208.8 rushing yards per game, allowed 8 sacks, and 6.3 yards per carry through the Texas game last year. Okay?
They're better this year. But
in 2019, we're putting up 286.3 yards rushing, giving up only 4 sacks and yards per carry of 7.7. This line is really good.
Right. Also, that line last year was not that good till the Texas game.
The Texas game.
The Texas game, I think their butts whooped by Texas. That's when they woke up, and that's when some clicked for them. Because after that Texas game, that's when we took over. Because before that Texas game, they were having struggles. Because one Creed wasn't out there like full time pretty much.
Right.
Like him and Alvarez were switching a lot. They weren't fulfilled yet. But after that Texas game though, that O line went from good to all-time great.
Yeah, well, that's my point is Oklahoma, or is it this line, are they going to do like last year and just get completely dominant?
Stay healthy, hopefully.
That's the key, and that's what Beatonbow said. This is the first time the first unit has been out there together since the first game. They still work as a unit really well. As long as they practice hard and they can stay healthy, this is going to be a special group. They're big, strong, fast. They know what they're doing. So I'm really looking forward to this O-line. And that's another thing, guys, out there. If you're on the Brainiacs, the football Brainiac stuff, Trench Warfare by JY, it's on the Brainiacs, but JY, go follow him on Twitter. It's at JY Brainiac. JY breaks down offensive and defensive lines, the line play for Oklahoma. Go check out his tweets. He tweets them out. I retweet them out as much as we can on Twitter when I see them. JY will. Have you seen his stuff, Caleb?
Yeah, I mean the people that he's highlighting are the ones I have like only people I'm worried about is the tackles.
Yeah.
The guards in the center, like those guys are monsters.
Yeah, but he
I watched the one where the guy's blocking a guy and all stuff, and guess who it was? It was the guard.
yeah.
I mean, I said like, the tackle is what scared me, just because they're ones that haven't been healthy, and if they stay healthy, I probably won't be as nervous. But those are the only things like the guards in the center. I think we're golden there. It's just the tackles are the things that.
But go check out his tweets. Go follow him on Twitter.
He breaks them down.
Yeah, he breaks it down. I mean, each one is about a 3 to 5 minute dissertation. That's a big word. Used a big word today.
Yeah.
Dissertation of what's going on in the play. He'll highlight 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in it, and he does it on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. But it's called, he calls it trench warfare. JY Brainiac. Make sure and go follow him. But I just think this offensive line is just going to get better and better as the year goes on. Like you said, as long as they stay healthy.
Yeah. Health is the biggest part right now, because the whole reason why they haven't been struggling in the first place is health. So
yeah, but he said but Biedenbow said today that the chemistry with the first group is still there, and it's great. They got to just stay healthy and play together. So I'm really looking forward to watching these guys get better and better. Jalen Hurts. Let's talk a little bit about Jalen, Caleb. What are your feelings about Jalen Hurts through 6 games?
He's going to put up a lot of good stats, a lot of the good numbers. I'm just worried against like the top tier teams how he's just. I don't think he's going to cost this game. I'm just worried about how he's going to look in those, like against like Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, Wisconsin, because we won't see anything like that again probably till Texas maybe again. And then,
if it's Texas.
It should be Texas.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we won't until we see. I think he's going to be great, and because he's been great all year. I'm just the pressure on him. And we have to score. I just want to see what it looks like, because we won't have to deal with that until probably the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, last night at the coach, so it's funny. Me and Rob and South Jersey Bill, the South Jersey Sooner, Bill Sloan. We were sitting there and we were talking. And me and Rob talk a lot. Outside of the podcast, but we talked on the podcast the other night, and when we really said we're nitpicking, and that's really what we're ending up doing is nitpicking now.
He's great. He's like one of the best players in college football. He's just not Kyler or Baker. Like,
right.
You can't pretty much with those guys. You can like go out there, all right, we're going to score here for sure. Well, Jalen, like we might not score every time, but we don't need that this year.
Yeah.
The defense, because one, and also too, Jalen too, like he takes time off the clock too, because of the way our offense is run, which is also great. Because once again, helps our defense.
Yeah.
So,
I just looked up some rushing totals for last year. Through 6 games, Kyler had 57 carries and 377 yards, 6.6 yards per carry. Hurts, through 6 games, has had 74 carries and 630 yards. And I honestly think the difference is, and this isn't I do believe, like what Klatt said during the game, that Jalen does pull the ball sometimes too soon. Okay. As long as it's not costing us, who cares?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I have no problem.
If he would let it go out a little bit more, but I mean, when he's running, he's not losing anything.
We don't need we don't need to throw a ball a lot with this offense, because we're better at running ball. But that's his biggest strength. Like, he's a good thrower, but his best strength is his running ability.
Right.
I mean, which is like in college. You can win with that. You can win a title with that. I mean, he almost won one in Bama with beat Deshaun Watson with that skill. So I mean, I think he's. I mean, like I said, Jalen Hurts is one of the best players in the country. Period. Like, overall, he's a great football player. It's just I just want to see what he looks like, because he did last year for Alabama against Georgia. But then again, he looked bad against Georgia the year before.
Yeah.
But I think he's better than both those Jalen's. It's just got to see him. Just keep doing what he's doing. I mean, pretty much. Just if he keeps doing what he's doing, we'll be good. So.
And we as fans, we nitpick, right, and especially right after the games. Rob and I talked after the game, and then on Sunday, we're just like, man, he pulled the ball too much. He needs to run.
I don't mind him running at all. He can run as much as he wants.
When I watched it more, and I would slow it down, and I'd see guys open, I'd see him, but then I got to looking at it again and kind of thinking, I was like, well, he's not doing anything wrong. He's not hurting us.
Yeah,
the only time he hurt us is when, one, he fumbled the ball.
Yeah, that fumble too.
Kyler Murray did that.
That fumble too. But if he looked up as he decided to run, like Baskin was wide open in the end zone. And someone that saw that, like, pretty much was like no one close to him. He just
but I mean, it was a 20-yard gain. But
he didn't see it. He didn't see it until after Jalen decided he's going to run.
I would rather him do that and get the 10 yards or 15 yards and get down or get out of bounds than do what he did in the end zone and try to force it in
Well, plus
through
that
there.
one too. Like, I mean, that was just a good defensive play. The guy punched the ball perfectly right there. So
Yeah.
I mean, even Jalen was almost on the ground. That was just a great nothing
Yeah.
to do about that.
The fumble was, but I mean, I would rather him run it, get out of bounds, or run it than to force the ball in like he tried to do. And every quarterback did it. I mean, Baker did it. Every quarterback does it.
Kyler didn't do it as much, but Kyler because.
But we as Oklahoma fans especially, have had the two most perfect quarterbacking seasons in the history of football. So we're nitpicking a guy who, like you said, is a great athlete, one of the best players in college football. I don't think he's going to win the Heisman, which my take on the Heismans. Natty's not Heisman's,
It just depends. What hurts him right now is he won't have another huge game to maybe Baylor and then Texas.
Yeah.
And you got Burrow versus Tua. I think whoever probably wins that Burrow-Tua matchup. And then RLS, Jonathan Stewart. I mean, there's 2 elimination games coming up in the next 3 weeks. You got Stewart versus what's the guy's name from Ohio State?
No, you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name either. But they got those 2 facing off. That's like elimination game for multiple reasons. And they got Tua versus Burrow. I mean, both those guys are probably going to throw up crazy stats. So I mean, and then Jalen's going to pretty much keep doing what he's doing, and then we'll see what the chips fall. I mean, like last year, Kyle was out of it, but Kyle was putting up crazy numbers that you just couldn't deny him. So if Jalen can put up that insane numbers, and I won't say he's not. I mean, I think there's like 4 players that can win it, maybe 5, and 2 of those guys will be eliminated probably in 2 or 3 weeks. So.
But I would rather win a national title.
I think everyone would. That's everywhere.
So I am going to be off the Heisman bandwagon like I was last year. If it comes down to it, I'll be just like I was with Kyler and with Baker. I'll want him to win it. I'll be happy. But I don't want a Heisman. I want a damn national title. And all that they started off after the first week of the game. Those, I cast my ballot for Jalen Hurts to win the Heisman on Twitter. Have you seen all that stuff? They've been doing that, the polls and everything. It drives me nuts. It's
I mean, those votes do count, though. I mean, it's part of the voting thing. So I mean,
but the other thing is, not that Baker and Kyler weren't not worried about. I mean, Jalen came here to win a title. He didn't come here to win a Heisman, and he came here to get into the NFL.
Yeah, I think NFL was the main thing. And probably get revenge on Bama. I think those are 2 things he wants to do. I think if he beats Bama and gets drafted, then I think he's happy.
What if he doesn't get to play Bama?
I mean, he's gonna hope so. I mean, if you don't play Bama, maybe LSU. I mean, hopefully, the dream scenario for the NCAA. I think most people in the country that's not cheering for a team would be OU versus Bama in the national championship game.
Yeah,
I mean that's the dream.
Well, I mean, there's already been people that said that if when the first polls come out, college football playoff polls, Oklahoma will not be 4th.
No, we'll probably be 6th or 7th.
No,
probably.
no. They're talking 2nd or 3rd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If Oklahoma continues to win like they have been, and their defense continues to play,
I would be shocked. I'd be happy shocked just because I don't trust that.
Yeah,
people.
because
I've seen some people. Some people have Oklahoma that high. I've seen other people have them like at 6 or 7.
Yeah, but I tend to agree with that.
Well, like I said, one of those two of those teams are gonna have a lot. Like Ohio State, Wisconsin play next week, and that's before the polls come out.
So one of those,
one of those will be out.
And Ohio State could be the one, because I'm telling you, man, I watched some stuff again on Wisconsin.
Really good.
Wisconsin's defense is.
But so is Ohio State, though. Ohio State's defense is really good, too. I mean, that's why I gained so much. It's at the Horseshoe. But it's at noon, which could help Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's a very good chance both those teams get 1-1. But, the problem with Wisconsin, though, if Ohio State jumps on them, then they're in a lot of trouble because their whole offense is.
LSU or Alabama is going to lose.
Yeah.
So, before then. So, it's Oklahoma keep winning. Oklahoma's going to come into the college football playoff first poll, probably 2 or 3.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess because Wisconsin and Ohio State would be out of there by then. I think Bama and Georgia should be like later on that month. But
but Georgia's
out of it. I mean, Clemson's going to be right there.
Georgia's out of it until other teams start losing.
Yeah, unless they win. If they win out, they're back in it pretty much because they'll be SEC champion. Clemson's going to be in there because ever since they struggled in North Carolina, they've been.
Auburn's going to have a loss. An SEC, all the SEC teams are going to have losses by that time.
Yeah, besides one.
Besides one.
Well, I think LSU Bama play at the end of the month.
Right.
So they play like close, like rivalry week. So I mean, I said OU should be favored by 10+ points. Like what are they this like 30-point favor or something crazy like this week? Is Kendall playing this week?
Probably not. They don't think so, but it kind of hinted that he might.
That's the whole reason I won't watch this game. But he's not going to be out there. It's just like it's be Kansas all over again.
Well, let's talk about Trey Sermon. People were.
I don't get why people were freaking out about that.
Yeah, I mean,
he was out there more than anyone else.
Yeah, he just didn't get the ball.
Kenny Brooks, when he got the ball, he just took off too. So
yeah, and even.
It's a read option. Jalen read it, and
even Lincoln said it's it just the spin of the wheel. He just didn't get the ball out there. But everybody settled down on Trey.
Yeah, he's healthy. He was out there more than the other running back. He caught passes.
Yeah, he's the high rusher. He's only been the top rusher in one game. That's against Texas Tech.
That's because Jalen runs the ball like 20 times a game.
But he's carried the ball 45 times for 345 yards, averaging 7.7 yards per carry. He's had 4 touchdowns.
That being said, though, he could be the odd man out of the 3 of them.
Well,
because not because of his own plays, because the other 2 guys are really good.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson has had 35 carries, 356 yards, 10.2 yards per carry.
And then McKinney Brooks was torching Texas.
Yeah, 35 carries, 311 yards, and 8.9
I think Sermon's best asset of all of them is he used to be a closer, but I think his hands are the best of the 3.
Yeah.
His hands are really good. And it's just there was one play that if Jalen saw him, like Sermon slipped out of the backfield, and he was wide open for a touchdown. Jalen just didn't see him. He still got completion like 20 yards out of it.
Yeah.
But if he just saw Sermon slip out, like he was wide open. I saw it live on TV. He's like, oh, he's open. And it would have been no one even close to him. He could have walked to the end zone. Yeah. But it's just part of this happens.
I mean, but Oklahoma's 3, the 3 horsemen.
I guess 4 because Jalen's.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the running backs.
They're so good. We have
they all have over 300 yards rushing.
And they're so good. We have like a freshman who's been killing it, apparently Major, who's been killing it, but he can't get a playing time at all.
Yeah.
And then we have Pledger coming back here soon, which if they might just not even play him at all.
But they all have those 3 have over 300 yards per carry. So we've got 1,000 yards out of our backfield. And they're averaging 10.2, 7.7, and 8.9 yards per carry. That's pretty doggone good.
I think we have 4 guys in the top 10 in average yards per carry right now, which is crazy. But it's like that's another thing about this offense is just this first time since Lincoln's been here, we're a heavy run offense, like crazy heavy run offense. Like Jalen throws the ball out maybe 20 times a game. That's so low in today's age. That's crazy. But since we run so much, we milk the clock a lot. And we don't need to throw a ball as much because we're just getting 5 yards, we're getting 18 yards of carry. So and the last drive we had with Jalen, it was a 4-minute drive. It just beat the crap out of Texas, and we ended the game with Jalen just milking the clock. First down. They couldn't stop us.
And I think Lincoln has always had that mentality of run first to set up the pass. It's not. It's. And I don't even want to say that. It's more like I'm going to run my offense to set you up for something. You know what I mean? I think Lincoln's the only guy who does things throughout the game right now in a certain way to set up something 6 plays from now. You know what I mean? I think they all do that, but I think Lincoln's mind thinks like that, is I'm going to lure you this way.
A lot of people say he does the same play over and over again, and then he mixes it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's the same play.
He throws through a few wrinkles and everything.
Same play with 9 different
options pretty much.
Blocking schemes.
And he'll see what they're doing pretty much. All right, do this now then. Do this.
Run it this way.
Do it this way now. It's like the exact same play, but instead of cutting this way, you cut this way. Because I'm pretty sure, because even when it says that the offense isn't that complicated, it just has a couple of wrinkles every now and then that just throws it all off.
Yeah. But last night at Rudy's, I had 2 questions asked. One of them,
That's what I heard.
Yeah, one of them was an offensive line question, and it was a dandy. I was proud of it. But it was asked, when you draw up a play, when Lincoln comes up with a play, do you and Biedenbow sit down and work out the blocking schemes to it, or do you just hand him the play and say, go block it? And it was really, it's a group deal. They sit down, him, Biedenbow, and the other coaches will sit down and they'll work out the schemes. And he said, the play may take 5 hours to work out and end up in the trash, he goes, it's, everybody puts their wrinkles into it. But if you look, that's some of the stuff on JY's stuff. If, and like what you're just talking about, it's they may run the same play out of the same set, but they have 5 different blocking schemes.
And then there's also
4 different running routes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like they suck them into what they want. They're like, all right, so like now's the time to do here's a touchdown play now. This is the time to pull it out.
It's crazy.
I mean, there's a reason why he's against Nick Saban, against Kirby Smart, against the best Stevenson minds. He's torched them. No one stopped him. I mean, honestly, the only time we get stops when we stop ourselves.
Yeah,
I mean that's the only way anyone stops us.
Calcaterra is going to be out again this week.
I love Calcaterra, but like this offense doesn't
he hasn't caught any. And I still think Hazelwood, even though Hazelwood didn't catch any passes last week.
I think it's also too is just the way the offense is run. Like our tight ends for this year is going to be more of just run blocking.
Yeah,
I think next year with Rattler, I think our tight end will be way more involved again.
Yeah,
but this year with this offense, it's just like tight end pretty much needs to stay in block, help block, and then we have so much talent out there receiving wise, it just doesn't matter.
No, but I mean, and then again, like I said, Hazelwood I think has become the favorite underneath target. That I still think Calcaterra may become part of the equation later on, or the tight end, whomever it is. But
I mean, the Hall guy's been one of the biggest guys that really out there. He's not a tight end; he's a fullback. He's the one that's been pretty much taking all the underneath stuff out too.
Him and is it Willis too?
Yeah.
They've caught some passes down. Like
so I think it's crazy on goal line. Just have Hall, Jalen, and Stevenson out there. It's just massive human beings out there. Plus the offensive line.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the defense. Yes, I'm guzzling the Kool-Aid still.
You see, a lot of people have Murray now as a first-round draft pick now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What we said, he was high on people's scout board before because he had the body and the skill set. He just hadn't shown it on tape yet. That's one thing he was missing right now was the tape, and he's pretty much in everything right this year. He's like a first-round. Galmore's not a second round right now, so I mean it's kind of crazy.
The only thing that this defense, we had 9 sacks and 15 tackles for loss, which is ridiculous against Texas.
I think like tackles for loss last year we had 25 or something.
And the only thing that they're missing out on are the turnovers. They're not getting the turnovers.
I think we're still the hundreds in turnovers.
Yeah, but
once again though, they're not on the field that much either too. Right. They get 3 and outs. It's kind of hard to get turnovers when you're
stopping them.
Yeah.
And here's a big stat for me. The Oklahoma offense has turned the ball over 6 times. The defense has allowed 0 points off of the offensive turnovers. That's impressive.
That hasn't happened ever in the last 10 years, I think.
We went from an offense that was like a spaghetti, and here's the thing that gets me about this defense is last year we all sat around here moping and griping and complaining.
Well, because you knew they're out there. It's like we just knew it.
But we didn't know why they were so bad.
Yeah.
It was like, what? These guys are 4-star athletes. Why are da-da-da-da? And I'm the same way backwards this time. It's like, why are they so good now? These is the same guy.
Confidence and scheme. It's pretty much all it is. Confidence and scheme. I mean, what happened last couple? I think Army took all their confidence out.
Yeah.
And then I think Iowa State and Texas kind of killed it. Not that it's just once you lose your confidence, I don't care who you are, in any sport, you lose confidence, you're not going to play as good.
Because Texas shouldn't have scored 20. Well, they could have scored 27 points, but that game was never.
It was never in doubt. I mean,
it was maybe in doubt. We got nervous, but it was never any doubt who was getting their ass kicked.
I mean, I said pretty much once OU stopped them again at their halftime 3 and out, I was like, this is over. This game's over. I mean, it's just like eventually they stopped us somewhat. Like we stopped ourselves. Like we're going to score. Like only way we're going to lose this game is if we lose it, not them. They're not going to beat us. We have to lose it. And then, like also, my favorite thing about OU this year is like every game we get first possession 3 and out. It's been every game so far this year. First possession 3 and out. We had like no 3 and outs last year, and we're 6-0 on 3 and outs this year to start a game.
Yeah, and through 6 games, defense has given up 122 points this year, as opposed to 168 points last year.
And I mean, like I say, probably 40 of those points were garbage time touchdowns too.
Yeah,
touchdowns that didn't matter at all.
Averaging 20 points, giving up 20 points per game.
I would say 2 against Houston were garbage. 2 against Kansas were garbage. A couple against Texas might have been garbage. The last one against Texas might have been garbage. The North Dakota ones are garbage.
Yeah.
Like when we're actually have our stars out there, we're actually playing. Like that's a lot less than what it is.
Well, and I tell you, they're starting to get believers out of the national, the national media.
Eventually, we keep putting up good stats, and even people who hate the Big 12. I listened to a couple podcasts today. It's like all they do is joke around the Big 12 teams are terrible. Which, if you look at the stats this year, they're better than
the
SECs. But they won't say that though because the SEC, they're putting up a lot of good offensive numbers, but their defenses, they won't talk about that at all. They kind of flip flop, which is funny. But even then, people who trashed, they've been trashing on you all year because they don't trust their defense. Even they're like, okay, this defense is. I'm not sure how good it is, but you can definitely tell it's a lot better than it has been.
You get 9 sacks against anybody,
especially your big rival.
Yeah,
and the team who torched LSU's and put up a top 10 offense.
Yeah,
I mean, and they're before that game, what they were known for is how they made the best Big 12, maybe best offensive line in Big 12. That's
and they just got smoked.
The week before, the whole broadcast, this is the first time that Ellinger's had a good offensive line. Blah 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 blah. This is the first time he's had this, and guess what? When you do that against a team like that, that opens up a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah, but Pollard, I saw today where he was talking about, they asked, about Oklahoma, and he goes, well, and I like Pollard. Mm-hmm. He cracks me. He goes, hey, I already bought into the Oklahoma offense 2 or 3 years ago. I've read this book, I've seen this movie over and over. They're going to get their points. It's been the defense, and this defense this past week did something that they haven't done in a long time, and they've done it consistently throughout the year. Oklahoma's for real,
That's the only thing. If we had this defense last year, the year before last, we win the title, that's championship. That's the only thing frustrating. It's just
I don't know about last year. Clemson was pretty good.
Yeah, well, last year,
2 years ago, we had to beat Alabama.
I still think that if we had this offense, I think last year's offense is better than 2 years ago. Offense, if we had this defense. I think that's the best offense we ever saw was last year. One, because Kyle Murray just refuses to lose, even against Bama, even games we should have got blown out in. Texas game and the Bama game, he made those games competitive.
Yeah,
because that's how good he is. And last year's offense, we had Hollywood, we had CD. I mean, and we had the best offensive line we ever had. I mean, I think last year's, if we had this defense, we would have won.
I think we and that's the thing that is frustrating is that
2 years ago we had we have a terrible defense. We had bad defense, but it wasn't terrible like it was last year.
It was pretty bad.
I mean,
last year's was terrible.
They won us. I mean, they did their job against the Georgia team. They held them to that field goal with our offense. If you hold a team in field goal in overtime, guess what? We should win that game.
Yeah.
So I mean, they did their job. That part, they held them to the field goal. Once we kicked the field goal, once we didn't go for on 4th down, that's ball game. We're gonna lose that game. I knew instantly. As soon as it's 4th and 1 with the high. I still think
we'd have beat Bama that year.
Sorry, we're watching Wednesday Night Football, Troy versus South Alabama. This quarterback just dropped the ball this is the weirdest play I've seen in my life. He just dropped it. Let's see the show replay.
From Troy, yeah, I need to see this replay and see.
I mean, I was mid talking. I my breath stopped pretty much. This is the funniest thing.
It's a snap. Oh,
he tried to pump fake and he just dropped the ball on his own 5-yard line.
Oh, are they going to review that and call it a pass?
No. It's this. That was crazy. That was funny. That's hilarious.
But no, I mean, what? It's still dumb. I was thinking about that today, driving home and thinking about the podcast. Was why is this defense so good now? And like you said, it's scheme and it's confidence and coaching and not that the other coaches and Stoops and everybody didn't. I think they demanded it in a different way, but I mean they demand you to do exactly what you're supposed to do at 110% at all times. And if you're going at 80, you're coming out. Don't take a play off because you're coming out and you're going to sit out. Not just a play, you're going to sit out. And if you make a mistake, make the mistake going 110 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
I mean, Daddy used to fight box. I mean, was that one of the big key things when he went in the ring? Pretty much, is his self-belief.
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest things. I mean, there was one kid I used to wrestle. There was one kid who used to go out there for every match. He would stomp his feet around, pound his chest, start slobbering everywhere. And every kid he wrestled against was scared shitless. I mean, they were scared. He beat them before the fight even happened. Yeah. And my dad pulled me aside. Is like, just go out there and just get right in this kid's grill. Don't react to him at all. And once you jump on him, he's not gonna know what to do. And he came out there, got my face, or slobbering, snot out of his mouth, pounding his chest. fight started, I got right in his grill pretty much the whole time, and he was lost.
Yeah.
And he was shocked because no one's ever actually stood up to him before.
Yeah. And everybody in the crowd was like, mouth open.
Because the guy was killing everyone. And this guy's already has it over with. And he's come out to me. I was a tiny little skinny kid with blonde hair. I mean, I was a really good wrestler, but I just finished what I was told to do. Just go out there, do what you normally do. Don't let this guy scare you, because that's
all it is.
That's all. It's all a show. And if he knows, like, once you get past that, he's probably not that good. And he wasn't. He was just all a show. And after that, we went to multiple tournaments after that, and he saw us coming. He went up a weight class.
Yeah, he'd go up a weight class.
He wouldn't go up against me no more because I think he actually won that match. I got cheated.
Yeah.
Like, he was so bad. His coach came up to me after the fight, after that match, and said, "You got robbed there, son." Like, that's how bad it was. But after that,
last second reversal, they didn't give you.
Yeah,
your reversal.
I was on top of the kid, and they didn't get it to me. But whatever. But after that, though, when they saw my name on the
Dill, he
would bump up the weight class. That's how I think it comes to defense. If you're mentally there. And then they're not getting popped in the mouth; they're popping you in the mouth this year. That's another thing too. We're coming after you this year, and you have to knock us off of our game plan. Because the last 4 or 5 years we have been sitting back and letting people hit us in the face. This year we're the bullies.
Yeah.
We're the ones going after you.
Yeah, and which it's just delightful. I mean, it's just exciting to see defense played the way Oklahoma fans and how
just been wanting to play for.
Yeah, have been wanting it to look like again. And it's finally.
It's just nice to be having, because we've been bullies on offense last. It's just nice to see bullies on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
We're still bullies on offense because we're so big and so physical. But it's just nice to see our defense have that same mentality.
Yeah. Well, 11 o'clock game this weekend. 11 o'clock game next weekend.
Probably after that too.
Yeah, we have an off week probably.
If Baylor's 11 o'clock game, I'm gonna be livid. I'm gonna be so mad because game day is probably gonna be there more likely.
Yeah, especially if Baylor and Oklahoma are undefeated.
Yeah,
that's
Baylor only scare they have is this week is Oklahoma State off the bye week at home. That'd be an interesting game. But if they get past this week, we're both gonna be beaten in that game, and game day will probably be there. And if we're 11 o'clock there, I'm gonna be so mad.
Yeah, alternates this weekend. Are you okay with that? Rough Rider alternates.
I like them.
You like them?
I'm fans of them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm slowly, accepting.
You see the record with them. We're a pretty good record with them.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with an occasional.
I would prefer if it was all black. I think all black would look a lot cooler. But it's
I would like it more if it didn't say Oklahoma on the front. If it said Sooners, like our regular jerseys.
So what was all black was like a regular jersey? If it was all black,
that's never going to happen.
It's gonna happen eventually. All black's the way to go. It's awesome. All black would be my favorite. All black and all white. That'd be my two favorite.
West Virginia coming in with probably not Austin Kendall. The coach, Neil Brown, isn't convinced he will be out, but he really wouldn't. They're still evaluating, and he really didn't want to say in public.
I kind of hope he plays one for him, and just think this big reason why I think we'll probably give him an ovation. Probably he's been through a lot here.
Yeah,
don't you think? I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
for
I don't
him.
think anybody's going to be. I mean,
it'd be cool. I mean,
yeah.
If game first, it'd be cool for him to probably get the appreciation that he probably deserves,
and then get put on his ass 9 times.
I mean, I hope he gets out there, then they take him out at halftime because he's getting killed. But I think he deserves that.
No, I mean, I
think he deserves the love from Sooner Nation for sticking it out. As long as he did, put everything he went through,
and he graduated. He fulfilled his
graduate.
Contract, just like Jalen fulfilled his contract with Alabama. And that kid that transferred that played at Florida Atlantic. He was at Oklahoma. He got kicked off the team.
Yeah, he got kicked off opening week. Pretty much
his freshman year, and the Sooners, we gave him when
clap.
When they announced him right before the game because.
Yeah, because they announced till then. It was both my games.
But they do have, let's see, 2 quarterbacks. Redshirt junior Jack Allison. He was the one who played the majority of the game in a loss last week to Iowa State 38-14. And then redshirt freshman Trelo. Both of them played last year. In the bowl when Will Greer elected to sit out. But they said they have one for the Sooners if Kendall's not able to go. Do you think it really matters?
It shouldn't. I mean, if it matters, it means we did something wrong.
Yeah. How many points does West Virginia put up this week?
Well, I've been saying the last few weeks, 14 points.
14 points?
14 or fewer.
I think so, and I'm with you. The only thing, only reason why it's taller than that is if it's garbage time. I think the good thing is, okay, that game, we're not going to have a game like we've had with West Virginia. I think we ended up in the 40s, both 47, 40, or 48, 45 last year, I think, something like that. And really, the defense saved us with 2 turnovers, 2 fumble recoveries for touchdowns.
I mean, it's crazy how bad our defense has been. They've won us some games the last couple of years. Imagine if they stay consistent, be like that. Like saying that they give up 45 points, they won us games is kind of pathetic. But they did force turnovers, win us games.
Yeah, they forced the turnovers last year to win that game. It's not going to be that type of game. I think it's going to be a solid,
West Virginia was like the second best team in the conference coming into last year. So this team's like maybe the worst team besides Kansas this year. So
I don't think they're going to, West Virginia played Texas really well for about a quarter and a half, maybe 2 quarters.
Homecoming.
It was home.
It's week before Texas.
Yeah. And West Virginia crowd was pumped up for the horns down up there. So, it was an emotional game, but Texas finally, even though the score I don't think indicated, Texas really handled that the rest of the way pretty well. So, Austin threw 4 interceptions? I think that.
Yeah. I think it's that secondary too, which is really bad.
Yeah. Anything you think will happen, surprise us this week, or do you just going to be par for the course?
It should be. I'm thinking until Baylor, should just be par for the course. Just go out there and dominate, do what you're supposed to do. It's gonna be just like I think it'll be a lot like the Texas Tech game. Just go out there, throw all over them, run all over them. It's just like they have no answers for us.
Yeah.
This is the first time in years that we can watch a game comfortably.
Yeah. Well, and I really like what Lincoln and the coaching staff has said is they are really, really, really focused on the next game. And I believe that. A lot of times it's just coach speak, but you hear the guys talk. And even Lincoln last night at the coaches show said, as big a game, and Texas is a big game, it's the biggest, best rivalry in the country. It's a game.
Well, it helps when your leaders have been told for years. Like Jalen Hurts got benched last year.
Yeah.
And Kenneth Murray, Gallimore, everyone on defense, they've been terrible. They've been told that it's easy for those guys to stay motivated when just 2 months ago they were getting trashed pretty much. People are like, there's no way Jalen can come in and do what these other guys have done. There's no way so defense can be that much better. So I think it helps when your leaders have pretty much, they know they're good, but they know how fast it can go away too.
Yeah.
Because they both had it happen to them before.
Yeah. And, what else? There was something else I was just fixing to bring up.
What's the big game this weekend anyways? Who's the big game this weekend?
I don't know who the big game is this weekend. Did you hear, they talked about it on the coaches show, if y'all didn't hear it on the coaches show, that they left the golden hat out on the field?
No, really?
Yeah.
So who got it then?
Well, Lincoln didn't know it. Actually, Toby basically told on them. He said they were down, they were up in the box, and all of a sudden they see Creed Humphrey and Buki and some other guys come running out of the locker room. And he said this was they were still in uniform, but it was a while after they'd all left the field. And the golden hat, some Texas fans had it. And Creed Humphrey went over to him and yanked the golden hat. They'd left it out on the field or left it somewhere.
Why did we have to snitch on him like that?
Yeah, and but no, Lincoln was like, "No, I didn't know that. No," and he said, "Yeah," and he goes, and he took it. Creed took it from him. Rather, forcibly, but he got it back. And Lincoln was like, "Well, if you need a guy to go get the hat, that's the one to send." He goes, he said, if I'd have sent somebody to get the hat, that's what he asked him, if he sent him out to get the hat. And he was like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, if I was going to send somebody out to get the hat, it'd be Creed Humphrey.
Would you be more timid by Creed or Kenneth Murray? I think Creed probably is stronger, but Kenneth Murray is, That's a freak. And Gallimore too. I mean, Kenneth Murray, Creed, I think Perkins and Redmond. One of the 4 guys. Okay, these guys.
And
Gallimore too.
I'm really, really happy for Murray because he started as a freshman. He got a lot of crap after that Georgia game, and let's face it, he was young. He made a lot of young mistakes. People not as nice as us said some pretty bad things. Last year he was improved, and you saw him.
He was consistent.
Yeah, you saw.
I think that's what's so frustrating about him because you can see the talent, and you can see that his body, you see everything with the guy. Like you see it all. He ain't pieced it all together yet.
And man, and that dude is fast.
Yeah,
man.
Ellinger's is not a slow guy, and he ran him down all game.
Yeah,
I mean he was covering their running backs and receivers in open field too. I mean,
yeah, he's become a beast. But I think that's it. Unless Caleb, is there something else you want to swing out there? We're not going to do our predictions until tomorrow night, but we know that we expect 20 points or less.
20 points or less. I'm interested. I really am really interested in this Baylor Oklahoma State game. See how Oklahoma State rebounds from this loss at the bye.
And we'll find out. Because Baylor had to beat Tech.
They should have lost Tech. Do you see how Tech got cheated?
Yeah.
So I mean, they should have lost that game. So I mean, I'm very interested to see how this game's gonna turn out. Did you ever see the Baylor uniforms with the little bear on that one? That's pretty cool uniforms, right? Pretty cool. But I'm really interested because this game, honestly, for you, we don't need Baylor to win, but it'll help if Baylor wins this game.
Because
we win out, we're good. But it was just
because Baylor could be in the top 10 by the time we play.
Oh yeah, they definitely could.
Because they play Texas after us, right?
I think so. Yeah, they go back weeks, us in Texas.
Yeah, and then they can beat Texas, and then we'll play them.
You really want to play Texas again? I don't mind playing Texas. I don't mind being.
I don't want to play Texas again because it's Texas. Not because I'm scared of them. It's just
like I play them again. So I like beating Texas. It's fun.
If we can beat them twice a year, we'll pass them quicker in the win.
I mean, that's the one thing. Every time we beat them, they always head over our heads. Well, it's still like 60-something to 49.
But like Blinken has said, and we all know that's the majority of those wins were
doesn't matter. Still
prior to 1950, and most of them were prior to 1920.
It's still in the record book still. So, I mean, that's the only thing they have. We have more national championships, more Heismans, more All-Americans, more conference championships. Only thing they have over us is that head-to-head.
Yeah.
And more wins.
And guess what happens that when we pass that? What's going to happen? Well, I mean, because we're not that far behind.
We're like 12 games behind or something like that. So if we play them twice a year, we can pass that in 6 years. So I want to do it because I don't want to be like 40 years old when we pass it. Hopefully you're still alive when we pass it, so it'll be faster.
You don't want to be 40 and you hope I'm still alive to see it. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Well, it's 2 picks in a row in this game. Jeez.
Well, that's it, guys. Appreciate you listening. Check us out on YouTube, on our YouTube channel tomorrow, and make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter. Do us a favor if you're listening to this. Go share it with your friends on Facebook and Twitter. Get your friends to listen to us. We have a blast doing it. And here in the upcoming season, we are going to have the fan guests on again. So, share this with your friends on Facebook, Twitter. Get everybody out there listening to it, and we'll talk at y'all next time. Boomer, Caleb.
Boomer.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Sooner Football Fans Podcast is hosted by Rob Nixon, Terry Long, and occasionally Caleb Long. It is produced at the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma. Follow us on Twitter at SoonerFBFans and like our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Sooner Football Fans, and visit our website at www.SoonerFootballFans.com to read our blogs and keep up with our tailgating activities. Boomer Sooner, everyone.